Hi, I'm Jesse Grimes, and welcome back to the channel. Here I am back in the backyard here in Orange County, and this video, I'm to start off with the mistake I've made, which I've spent most of the day trying to figure out how to correct here. So, you've seen in the last video, I was building these two boxes here, and I needed to get that dirt inside the box. There was another box here that I needed to remove, and so I was eager to get that dirt in this box, and in order to do that I had to make sure I had irrigation. So I set this riser in this box here, and I had assumed, after I knew that the sprinklers I was attaching this irrigation to, the ones here, went along the edge of this brickwork here, and they ran off the number 7 station over here. So I knew that that's where the sprinklers ran together. And because the irrigation box was over there, I assumed that that line ran along these bricks and then over to here. Sorry, they're doing some work next door, you might be able to hear them. So because I assumed it came from that direction, I cut this line and I attached this riser to this side of the line. Now when I went to run this today, water just started bubbling out from the ground over there. And what I found out after digging out more of the lines, after digging out this box over here, finding out where these pipes actually went, that line comes from over here. It runs along the patio there and then cuts across the yard. It's a 3/4 inch line. So there's a nice little tee off thing here and then runs around over to where this is. So I've cut that into line and I plugged it on the wrong side. I attached it to the wrong side. So I've been digging around today, figuring out where all of these irrigation lines go. And what I'm gonna have to do is kind of shortcut. That's why I dug this trench. I'm gonna cap this side off and run a new line and hook it into this so that I can have water in these two beds. Now this brings up another point. I've run into this a few times working with old irrigation systems. Like this one has been in the ground for 20 years. I don't know where the lines go. Other than like what stations run what sprinkler heads, and sometimes they're broken, sometimes they're capped off. You don't know they're there. It's real hard to work when you don't know what's underground. So if you are going to install pipes underground for an irrigation system, it's a really good idea to make a great diagram of where those pipes run and then laminate it and put it inside your irrigation box there so that anybody who's working on irrigation knows what's underground, and you know for the future when you might need to dig up in your yard somewhere. So I've got this little bit of a base map that I made on the computer, and I've just started to mark out where the different sprinklers are and where the pipes are underground so that I have this as a reference and anybody else who works back here has a reference as well. Alright, so we're back in the yard again. Last night I did a bunch more work on this irrigation lines over here. I got this shortcut put in, and I also needed to get water into this bed as well. So I figured out the easiest way to do that was to use the same line that these are coming off of, and just cut that part off and hook it in again. I had to dig this little trench, and I tell you, this is a really difficult trench to dig. But I also capped off the ends with screw-on caps and pressure tested it, so I didn't see any leaks. That's a good sign. Now that'll allow me to get this box set in place and lined with the plastic, and it'll be ready to accept dirt when we are ready to start digging our basins over here. I think today I'm going to start working on putting the Urbanite in here. So Urbanite is another name just for broken up concrete chunks, which you usually get for free, just for hauling them off. I've even had jobs where somebody, like a contractor, is breaking up a driveway or something for a job they're doing, and they'll drop them off in the yard for free. So he just came and dumped a bunch in the front yard. It's a cool material. It's readily available in the cities and the suburbs for free. It's recycled, so you're not, making new concrete. You're not having that whole carbon footprint of mining the materials, the whole process of turning it into concrete and transporting it again. So it's a good recycled, reusable resource. It does take a little bit of extra work. Like you can see over here, you got to dig a little deeper than you would with just normal pavers, but it makes a cool look. You have those natural cracks in the middle of it, and it is obviously really heavy, so I'm not quite looking forward to moving all these today, but I think it'll look good once I'm done. So of course, working the irrigation never ends. I had to do a little bit more work. I've got this pipe coming in. This used to be just a sprinkler line, one of the stations on irrigation. I've capped off those sprinklers, and then I've tapped into it and installed this little riser next to the house. And what this is going to do is provide water for a sink and an outdoor shower right here. This other line here is coming from over there where that sprinkler is. I could cut it out, but I think I'm just going to leave it in just in case it needs to be used at any point. So part of the reason I'm going to install a sink and a shower here is when we install these Urbanite pavers down here, I'd like to grow something inside of them, like a creeping thyme or a moss, something that will be nice to step on for whoever's living in this little house, or the owner if she wants to come out here and take a shower during the summertime when it's hot. And so whatever I plant in here is going to need water. It's going to need some irrigation. But we already have water coming off of the roof of this house, and we're going to have water coming off the shower. So as it gets hot in the summertime, the plants need more water. People are going to be more likely to come out here and take a shower, which will provide water for those plants. It's an example of connecting elements. So we have these different elements of this little house, this basin right here, and the sink and shower. So this basin needs water. We've got water right here. We make that connection between these two elements, and that's what permaculture, it's a big part of what permaculture is about, is making connections between things so that they beneficially support themselves. Just like nature does, just like different species in nature have beneficial connections with each other. And permaculture is modeled after nature, so it's no big surprise. So I'm just about ready to start putting these Urbanite pavers in this basin. I've got the bottom leveled out at the level I think I'm going to need it. I can adjust as I go. So like I said before, we're going to use these because they're recycled, they're on site. We've also got another recycled material on site here. So I need some sort of sand or gravel to put under those pavers to level them. And just so happens there used to be a sandbox right here. So I kind of discovered it when I was digging out a hole to put this garden bed in. And we have this big old pile of sand with gravel mixed in. So this is going to work. Normally when I'm doing Urbanite pavers, I prefer to use like 3/8 crushed rock. Works really well because you have those uneven surfaces on the bottom of the pavers. You need something to hold them. But the sand will work just fine. So I prefer to use this rather than going and buying some crushed rock. Again, that carbon footprint, it's a mined resource that has to be transported. This is right here on site. It makes a lot of sense to use it. So I've started to lay out the Urbanite in this basin, and what I've done is I've started with this one block here, which is going to be in front of the sink, so I wanted to make sure it was the right height. I've got my height set on that. As you can see, it's about 1 inch below the side of this brick border here. Hello again. So I was able to get about half of this hardscape done yesterday before my back started giving out. It's definitely a heavy material to work with, but it's looking good so far. As you can see, you kind of just got to puzzle piece them together, starting from the edges and then filling in the spaces in the middle with whatever piece fits. I've got the sand on the bottom of the gravel that helps fill in that uneven space, and then I've got a short level for checking the level in between the blocks. I kind of start from the first block and just level it off from there, and then I got the long level to check over large distances. So I gotta keep going on this today. I found out it's gonna rain in a couple days, so I want to get this finished before the rain comes. The rain would wash out that sand and might mess up the level of everything. So I'm gonna try to finish this today. This is just the other half, probably up to about right here. I gotta finish digging this out. There is this root right here, which I don't really want to cut, so I'm gonna try to work around it if I can. Hopefully I can find the right pieces to fit in there. So I'm gonna keep on working. So there you have it. I finished the puzzle. I got all the Urbanite laid into this basin here. A few pieces left, but used most all of it. And I made sure that this stone right here, this is going to be the exit for our water, also known as a spillway. So I use my water level here. It's just a simple clear vinyl tube and a couple yardsticks. And this is the way you can measure level. You can also measure differences in height, differences in elevation. So I made sure that this stone here, this part, is about ½ inch lower than the edge of this concrete over here by the window. So that way, when this does fill with water, before it overflows and gets to the window, which would cause damage, it'll overflow out of here and go into another basin. So that's a really important part of doing water harvesting, is you need to direct where that water leaves when there's too much of it. So these are really fragile right now, and they're just set in the sand. They can move around, so I got to be really careful walking on them. And then I got to fill them up with dirt, and that'll help hold them in place. So there it is with all the dirt in it. As you can see, I used a broom to push dirt in between the stones, and then I used the back of a shovel handle to pack it down every few inches. You need to pack the dirt around the stones so it keeps them from moving. But as you can see, this is a bit lower than the brick around it. So that'll fill up with water, which is going to come off of this roof. It'll drip off of this edge. It'll also come down that white gutter right there. That collects water off the other side of this roof and the little shed that's over there. So that'll drain into here. It'll fill up this basin, watering the plants. And then as you can see over here, kind of started the exit here. That'll go to another basin that's around kind of where that shelf is right now. Still got to figure out how this whole transition between this hardscape and the hardscape that's going over there and the path is going to work out. But for now, this is done. And I think it looks pretty nice. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I think it's about it for this one. If you want to support my videos, go out to patreon.com/JesseGrimes and become a patron. I'll see you next time.